Back in Sipurei Maasiot, as you recall, in the last part of the story, Shani the Melech, the vizier, found his way into the palace where the Bas Melech, the daughter of the king, the princess, is located. And she sees him and she comes over to him. And she asks him, "Do you recognize me?" Now here we're talking about his neshama. Now Rebbe Nachman, at least the interpretation of Rav Shik, changes slightly now, where he, instead of talking about the person who's looking for his neshama, begins to start talking in the terms of the tzaddik emes who knows how to help people find their neshama. So now he says v'sholo saw. So now he's there. She has found him in the corner, and now she reached out to him. This is neshama. V'sholo saw, and so he asked her, "Ich bazlakan, how'd you get here?" V'cheshiva, and she asked about Asher Sha'avi Hamelech Nizrak Bepiv Diber Hanal, because he said this particular phrase that I said, Shahalotov Yikach Otach, that something bad, that which is bad should take you. Now remember that we have this concept is that Zelum Zel Bara Osam, that Hashem made goodness and he also made something opposite to it. We're placed in that position, which again that Yaakov Hillel refers to as the Zohamas Nachash, which is we live within the poison of the Nachash, because it's right here inside of us, all around us. And then she answers him and she says, this place is a place which is not good. I'm residing with the other side. Sheni the Melech is the Sheni the Melech. Now he says this is the tzaddik. The Sheni the Melech is the tzaddik. Rotza lahotzi as Adam echashol tachti shenafel l'sham. He wants to take a person out of the pit that he's been in. And we have different definitions of what pits are, so you have to think about yourself or what could be a pit for you. But he's going to tell you a few things. So he goes around the person and he starts to say to him, you know what you need to do? You need to really get in touch with yourself and to confess what it is. And basically, his idea is that the confession is a part of his baitidus. This is you don't go to a priest and you don't go to your local Orthodox rabbi, but you go to Hashem Yisbarach, who's right here with you all the time anyway. You start to tell him all the things that you've done wrong. Now this is L'Kuti Maran. It's going to bring is that he says like this: that this takes the chatoim that you did, it moves it out of your bones. Meir Alava or Ein Sof Baruch Hu, and the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu will shine upon him again. He brings this in the L'Kuti Maran, Elek Aleph, Siman Dalet. I've learned this a few times. From the Noisav Shal Adam Heim Alatz Meisav. The Rabbeinu Kodesh says over there that when a person does things which are bad, that they actually become carved in his bones. They become a structural element that's what he means. He means they become a part of the structure of the person. He leans that way naturally. It's just like shaping your body if you lift weights, so you get stronger in one way. Well, here's this actually changes you when you do averos. The Moshe Kosev and he avanoisav chakuko kolatzmosav. So he brings a piece from this is from Yecheskel. So he says that your averos will be carved on your bones. But when a person confesses, he sits down, he makes his baitidus. He says, then his sins will come out of his bones. You want to find your neshama. So then the tzaddik, shuhat tzaddik, siviv im habas melech. So he starts going around with this bas melech, who is the neshama, let's say, of you or me. Shoshalo, so he asks her, Ech bas lekam. So how did you get into a situation like this? So that she could be able to answer. Because my father told me that I'm going to go to a place that's not good. That's what he said, that something which is bad should take you. And now I'm in a place that isn't good. Makom of shadim, he says, some people say shadalods. which are demons, varuchos, and spirits that are bad. V'zeh rak gilsalo ezen, so she only says this, that I am in a place which is really in trouble. Then he's able to talk to her. So he's saying like this, if you could recognize, I think what he's saying to me, is that if I can recognize that I'm in a difficult place and that I've fallen into into something which is not good, this is already the beginning of a conversation with the neshama that can bring the neshama out. And he said that he's been looking for her, for this neshama, for a long, long time, and that her father is really sorry about this. He wants her back. This is the Rahmanas that the tzaddik has. Shehu mamshech es rachmanusu yizborach ala adam, that he's able to show the mercy that Hashem has for people. Gemuvu divid Rabbeinu Zal, ki tzaddik hu rachman gadol. The tzaddik is a person of tremendous mercy. V'igir ha-rachmanu the is nishmas yisrael meravonos. The main thing that he wants to do is take us out of the trap of the sins that we've committed, and as he said, that they actually become a part of us, they're carved in our bones. You want to get him out of the chen hu megalal and the neshama shira bas melech. So now he wants to say to a person like you or me, he wants to say, you know what? You have a neshama inside of you. It's the daughter of the king. It's the Shekhinah itself. And that the fact is that the part of her which is godly from a different dimension and from much, much higher and more pnimi dimension, more inside dimension and closer to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, wants her back. In other words, she's there, but she's not looking. She doesn't realize who she really is. And he looked for her for many, many years. We're looking for you. The rabbi says the Gemara in Brachos, what could you say about a father who sent his children away? And oy for the children who can no longer eat at their father's table. So the fact that the Almighty sends us into this galus that we live in, don't think that he's not he's someplace else. He's not. He's right here with us. And he wants us. That's the whole thing. He wants us to want him. So he asked her, how can I get you out of here? How can I get you back to your father again? He starts speaking to a person according to the person's own level. He who wrote to the das Eifa Adam Nimsa, because he wants to know where you find yourself. Where do you see yourself in this world? What are you doing? How close do you want to come? How close, how much do you want to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? So according to what a person says, and the person begins to start thinking about this, then the tzaddik can direct you. You can get in touch with the tzaddik. The tzaddik is there. He's trying to reach you. She said, it's impossible to take me out. You have to choose a place, special place, private place. And you should stay there one complete year. So that you should yearn all that year long to find me and to bring me out. And whenever you have spare time, where you should only yearn. So you should do these things. You should always yearn and try to look to see how to take me out, and you should fast. Last day of the year, you should fast. And then there's a time where you shouldn't sleep the whole day, 24 hours. A person has to know. If you're in a neshama, which again, we live in a poisonous area, so if you want to bring your soul out, so that he can make a connection, a devekus, with Hashem Yisbarach. You need to do this. You need to have a special place where you could go in order to be able to serve Hashem. And you should really yearn tremendously in order to be able to bring out your soul, bring out what it takes. He brought this in Sichos Haran. Tov ma'od la'adam, it's a tremendously good thing for a person. Lo cheder miyuchad lo levado la'asok sham ba'avodas Hashem, where he could be able to work there and struggle in his serving of Hashem. Yisbarach v'torah tefillah, that he could place a place where he could be learning, a private place where he could learn and he can pray. But his again, this is a big theme with Rabbeinu HaKodesh. Specifically, they should have private conversation out loud with Hashem Yisbarach. I mentioned confession before about the tzuras that you have, the different problems that you have, because as soon as you mention, if you're by yourself, or even it doesn't matter where you are, but you could say out loud and start speaking to God, and then you know that God is right there with you. But to do this, you really need a private place. Kol yom, and every day you should strive over there, yearn. How can you bring your summer out? How can you make it possible for you to have the Vegas with the Kodesh Baruch Hu? Because that soul, that thing that you need, that neshama, is the queen, the princess that's lost. On the end of the last day of that year, you should fast and don't sleep for a whole 24 hours. The Zechah al Erev Rosh Hashanah, of course, we're talking here a little bit about Erev Rosh Hashanah, which is the last day of Rosh Hashanah. It's a bringing Shulchan Aruch. No, again, this Anas Erev Rosh Hashanah. There are those who are accustomed to fast on the day before Rosh Hashanah. A move of Abraham, so they also bring this in Abraham. Also, a person really wants to grow. O said that he should do this. So, v'halach v'asa came, and so he went. He found himself a private place, and he's going to do this. Kizeh ika hashleimos. So this, he says, is the main perfection of a person. The tzayis, it's a tzaddik, to listen to the tzaddik. This is the advice of the tzaddik that he needs to do. Al kol yomer kihu zeh kamuva b'divrei Rabbeinu Zal. So here we're talking about listening is to neshama, listening to the tzaddik. Rabbeinu Zal says, "Shah ikar v'chayisod shah kol tolui bo." Sheyitzayis, it's a tzaddik. Listen to the tzaddik. I'll call the Sheyomer ki huzeh. Whatever he had said, listen to the tzaddik. Davagod over davakad. So then we're going to go to this last piece here. So at the end, the last day, he fasted. And he didn't sleep. And he stood, and he went to there. So he's in this Vaholach. And so he saw there's a tree, and he saw there beautiful fruit there, beautiful apples. And it was a tremendous appetite for this. And he stood and he ate from there. And immediately, when he ate the apple, fell, sleep overcame him. This is the way it works in this world. That he does all different kinds of things to make a person mess up. And the Yetzer Hara is standing there ready, constantly with us, to bring us to something we could fall apart on. The rabbi says, This is Gemara over there in Kedusha, and he says that the Yetzer Hara of a person is renews itself every day. Shenember rak ra kol hayom, he quotes a pasuk. It's only bad every day. The bad is around you all the time. We're in the toxin of the serpent. V'amar Rabbi Shimon ben Levi, Yitzro shel Adam is gaver v'lo b'kol yom v'vavakesh misa. That your Yetzer Hara is wants to overpower you every day, wants to kill you. That he's looking out, Rasha is looking for the tzaddik and he wants to kill him. But Prat call Misha Rotza the his kadesh for his honest betachlis aliyah, this alo. So certainly a person who now has realized that he wants to come back, he wants to get close to Hashem Yisbarach. Not going to be so easy. Allah misgaver of Yetzer Hara b'yoser. That person is going to have a tremendous Yetzer Hara coming after him. V'lo noisa manoach is not going to let him rest. But he wants to keep knocking him down. Now, one of the things that we have to understand is that, of course, it's a natural part of trying to grow. It's a growing that you have to get knocked down. Once you get knocked down, then you have to pick yourself back up again, because that's the way it is. The Rebbeinu HaKodesh says it's a yerida l'tzorach aliyah. It's a fall for the purpose of building yourself back up. There's a nice metaphor over there. It's like a person who comes across a stumbling block in the road. He has to climb up to get over it. Something going to knock him down if he doesn't handle it right. If he learns how to handle it, he'll wind up on a higher level because he'll have to get up high in order to get past that. So it's going to grow. And especially people who want to learn Torah. Those people have the biggest problems. It really overpowers these people more than anybody else. A person who wants to really separate himself out and make himself holy, a Yetzer Hara is pasha the love, but Yosef, then you could expect that the Yetzer Hara is going to get you more. This person needs a tremendous amount of mercy. So therefore, immediately when he ate the apple, this is the same thing that happened to the first man. He ate this from this tree of good and bad. So now he couldn't live in paradise anymore, because he's got all this bad stuff that he's taken into himself. So therefore the same thing is like this. If you can't develop yourself in such a way that you can listen to the voice of your soul, and you get involved in digesting things that you shouldn't be, it'll cause you to fall into sleep. He brings this at the Kuti Maran Chelik Aleph Siman Samach. The main problem that people have is falling into deep sleep. There's people, and we understand this, it's true of us, but we can see it on the whole level of the whole world, that people are sleeping their whole lives away. The whole 70 years they can wind up sleeping. What does sleeping mean? This is a person sleeping even though that he's awake. He doesn't know that he's sleeping. He's just not paying attention to his neshama. And he puts his neshama to sleep. Because if a person does not have a derech, a way, which again we have this word derech, we work the word derech, he does not have a way to make himself cling to the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which is eternity. And he says that you don't speak to God, because if you don't speak to God, you could be thinking he's someplace else. It's very common, even religious people, very religious, even very learned people. They think that God could go away from you, that God could get lost. So that maybe God doesn't care about you, and that's why things are going bad. He turned his back on you. Or maybe he was never here to begin with. So when a person is like that, it's a sign that he's in a deep sleep. And so therefore this neshama is not able to shine on this person at all. This is what happened to the grand king, the grand vizier rather. Shemaramez al isha kosher. So what is it trying to say? This is really the idea of the kosher person, a person who wants to be good. Sherotza lahotzia es nishmaso. He wants to bring out his soul. But he lost patience. He couldn't handle it. So he fell. And so then he ate the apple and he fell. Until he fell into a deep sleep and he was off the derech, not in touch with his soul anymore, and sleeping his life away. Now, this is a little contrast in the way that Rav Schick presents a question for me. Maybe you could see this differently. But on the one hand, he's talking about you and me, and us finding our neshamas, us finding our connection, because inside of us is an automatic, natural connection to eternity. But Yitzhak doesn't really want us to find it. On the one hand, he says like that. On the other hand, he says that actually the Sheni L'Melech is not you or me, who wants to be a tzaddik, but actually it is the tzaddik, Rabbeinu Kodesh, who's telling us this story. So it's both. The Rabbeinu Kodesh is a master tzaddik. Let's say like this is my interpretation. If you have any other thoughts about this, let me know, because trying to understand. On the one hand, he talks about me, and me finding my soul, understand. On the other one, he talks about the tzaddik who's trying to show me how to find my soul. Anyway, that's the shir for today. Hope you enjoyed it. That's the main thing.